Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest.
I made these embossed fig leaf bud vases that I'm gonna make available on my shop this month. By the time you see this video, they'll be already available. But I have 4 of them and they're super unique for obvious different reasons. One, I don't have the fig tree anymore. It was a little fig tree that my mom got me for my birthday last year, and it was not thriving, it was not surviving, it was having a hard time. So I did trim off the leaves and I made these vases, little bud vases, and these are obviously one of a kind, unique, nothing like them because the tree is already gone and this is all I have left. I might keep one for myself, honestly. They're really cute, I really love them. So I have 4 of these I need to take pictures of, and I also have 2 of these. So this is the yellow dandelion vase. It's like a warm yellow, not super punchy, how I like my yellows. So I have 2 of these. They're like a buttery warm yellow, and I'm gonna make these 2 available. These are not something I'm gonna be made available, but I wanted to share them anyway. So I made little wall hangs of the fig tree leaves, and there's a couple of them. This one, and I thought they would be such a great addition to a like gallery wall, or even like something I could put in my bathroom. They're so cute. They're also stamped on some recycled clay, so I had some leftover clay. It's a mix of the speckled, the white. It's like a mix of like everything that I had left over. So it does have some speckling. Not sure if the camera's picking it up, but yeah, it has some speckling to it. And I thought they would be like cool additions to a gallery wall, just like little ceramic wall art. Something I've been toying around doing from like my shop and stuff too, is like making like little ceramic wall art. It's something like to have like a piece of ceramic and like art in your home if you're interested. But these are for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, these are for me. And lastly, I wanted to share that I got my little trinket dishes that I worked on in the last vlog. I know it's so dark. I'm so sorry about that. I think they turned out really well. I'm really happy with them, and this is the first time I've ever worked with porcelain, and it's very different. Porcelain doesn't have like grog in it, so it feels kind of like Play-Doh when you're working with it, and you have to be very careful with water. So it's not like the best for hand building, but for hand, like this is hand built and hand painted, and for porcelain, I'm really excited about these. I don't know if I'm going to be making them available just yet. I'm so sorry if the audio was like really bad for a moment there. I forgot that I didn't have the mic connected to my other camera. So, sorry. What I was saying before is that I don't know if I'm going to be making these available yet. I want to hold on to them because I might want to submit them to like an art show or gallery or something. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I do want to make them available. Trust me. They're so precious and like cool. Like this is porcelain. I don't know how good the audio is. I'm just going to repeat what I said. This is porcelain. It's my first time hand building and using porcelain. And I hand painted all the details. You saw that in my last vlog. If you wanted to take a look at what I did and how I painted them, you can check out that video. But it was the first time that I ever like used porcelain, and it's almost like hand building with Play-Doh. Like it has a weird texture because it doesn't have grog, and you can't use a lot of water with porcelain just because the nature of it will just like disintegrate and fall apart. But I love how these turned out. My first time, and I kind of want to use porcelain again. I know it can be difficult, but I like a challenge. I like to master things. So maybe I will try to use porcelain again in the future and see if I can do more hand building with it, because I think that's a little crazy and not a lot of people will suggest using porcelain. Like I don't think anyone would suggest using porcelain for hand building, but I might try. I might try again. This is my first attempt and I love it. So I might try to do something again with porcelain and hand building. I just didn't have enough to like make a bigger piece, so I made like a bunch of little pieces. I have one last thing to share, and this is something super precious and like new and a little scary. So I wanted to offer a bigger print of my painting, and this painting means so much to me. I don't like talk a lot about what I do outside of like making art, but I'm a big reader. I love reading. It's like an escapism thing for me. It makes me feel like I can just forget about all my problems and worries and just read and like transport myself into another world where my problems don't exist, and I can like live through another character and another person in a way. So a couple years ago, I submitted this art piece. To a online like art magazine. I never heard anything back, which was kind of disappointing. I don't know what happened, but I have still the physical copy of my painting. I didn't lose it or anything, but this painting means so much to me, and I wanted to make it into a full-size print, and I did, and I'm really, really happy that it actually looks good. I have not had a lot of luck with outside printers and going through manufacturers to print my artwork, but this looks like my artwork. Like this looks like a painting, and it's a glissé or glissé. I think it's glissé of my art, and it's printed on Halamula bamboo paper, so it is eco-friendly, and it turned out so nice. I think it's beautiful. And this painting means so much to me, and I wanted to offer it to anyone who is interested in purchasing it. I'm not sure how I'm gonna make a listing on my Etsy yet, but hopefully by the time this video is up, I will have an idea. I'm just really happy with how this turned out. I don't know why I'm getting like kind of teary, but it's one of my favorite pieces. It means a lot to me, and to see it printed well, it's such a relief for one, and also like really exciting. I get to offer one of my favorite pieces of art as a print, and as a full-size print too. I don't know, it just feels like it marks a big change, a big something. If you're interested, please check out my Etsy.
Beyond the ghost, we stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know. For all in this, I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. We're all in this, I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. Hello, Ramona. I mistook you for a dream. The engine glows, and I guess you always seem to know. Hello, Ramona. I push back the serious feeling. The ends
I originally started this painting very different than how I usually start a painting. I think I was a little nervous and maybe still a little bit rusty from not painting for a few months. And so when I originally started this painting, I had a lot of different ideas of how this painting would look. I did a couple of sketches and decided that I wanted to fill in that empty space next to the female figure with a plant called wolfsbane, the reason behind the painting, which is the return of the wolf. And I originally got inspired to start this painting because I read an article and saw a YouTube and Instagram video about wolves being reintroduced into the wild. And I wanted to make a paintings or a series of paintings of wolves and their in various different positions, and also female figure because I like to paint feminine figures. I feel like they kind of represent nature, like Mother Nature, and connection between humans and animals. I also wanted to add botanicals because I love botanical artwork, but I was struggling trying to figure out the composition of this painting. And because of that, I did have to tweak some things at the end. The more I share my art journey in painting portraits and making paintings for my portfolio, the less I end up sharing more of my art process, especially like the portrait painting part of my art process is not always the same. There's similar elements, but they're not often executed the same way. And I think now, which I could have done last year, but things were so difficult for me to even pick up a pen and pencil during that time. But I think this year I definitely want to get comfortable in my ability to paint portraits. I like how my paintings turn out, but I want to have more of a repetition. I want to have more of a step-by-step process. This year I want to get better at finding a process that helps me paint portraits, like having a step-by-step process that I could better share, because right now sometimes I go about it very differently than I usually would. But the thing that I like about this painting, despite all the ups and downs it went through, is that it incorporated everything that I wanted to do for my paintings for a very long time. Aside from one step, which is something that I have to just get comfortable with and slowly introduce into my paintings. But I always wanted to incorporate the way that I paint animals, like animal portraits, with gouache and watercolors, with the way that I paint my female portraits with just watercolor and maybe a little bit of gouache to help with like the refining the details of the face. And this is the first time I actually was able to incorporate both of my painting styles into one painting, and I think that's why this artwork means a lot to me and is a very important step in my creative journey. Because I was able to incorporate both of my painting styles into one artwork, I want to explore doing this more, and I also want to kind of rip the band-aid off and do more intricate, more detailed work. I've been hesitant to do more detailed work because I have a hard time focusing on one painting at one time for a long time, like a long time period. I often finish a painting within a day or two. If I'm not recording, I feel like I could finish a painting in a day, but I don't keep a lot of similar elements in my paintings. I have either a portrait and some florals. I have an animal portrait with a background, but never have I had an animal portrait and a female portrait together with florals, and this time I did. So this painting did take me a couple days to complete, but I was also recording. What I would like to do in the future is be able to incorporate more hidden details into my artwork. When I think about this, I think of like Ruth Spear and how she paints her portrait and her illustrations, where there's like hidden details within the margins, within the border of her paintings, and I really love that style, and that's something that I've been thinking a lot more about doing in my artwork. I notice when I'm afraid to do something, I do a lot more thinking than doing, and I think I just need to just rip the band-aid off and just try it. And once I try and I feel I like it, then I can incorporate more into my artwork. And if I try it and I don't like it, then I can just say, at least I tried to do something and I didn't like it, so it's not going to be part of my art process, but I won't know until I actually start. The more intricate and the more detailed my art gets, the harder it is for me to edit it down. And I do enjoy time lapses. It gives me the nostalgia and the vibes of like previous art YouTube videos, but I like to share as much as the process of my paintings as I can. A lot of the art processes that I do behind the scenes, like I want to share more of my painting process. I want to share more of how I went through every detail of the painting, but I'm not really sure if anybody would be really interested in seeing the full process of my paintings. But it's something that I've wanting to do more and more, and it just brings me back to the idea of having maybe a separate time lapse of my painting where I could see from start to finish more, or maybe do a separate video for my paintings where I can just share the painting and nothing else. Like it won't be more of an art vlog where it's a conglomerate of a bunch of different things. It's mostly just like my artwork and my painting. I don't know, I've just been thinking of different ways to share more of my art without it being super broken down to fit into a video format that's no longer than like 20 minutes or so. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do this, but I have so many paintings that I've recorded and that I would like to look back on and see the process. And a part of me is thinking, okay, but would anybody else be interested in this? But another part of me is like, I would enjoy watching my own painting process. And I do. Sometimes I go back to my old videos and watch how I painted something because I want to either relearn how I did something or I want to revisit how I did something. I'm just having a hard time deciding how much to share and if anybody would be interested and how much I would like to share. As I'm painting the Wolf's Bane, I realized that Wolf's Bane isn't normally a red color, and the reason why I went with red instead of like a purple or a blue color is because I've been really attracted to the color red in my artwork. I have started collecting a lot of red watercolors and reaching for red in my watercolor palette. I don't think that this is something that's gonna stay permanent in my artwork, but maybe this color is going to be a theme that's prevalent in a lot of my artwork this year. I find myself gravitating to certain colors every year of my art journey. I think the beginning I was gravitating towards pinks, yellows, and gold. I was gravitating towards like blues and purples. Last year I was gravitating towards greens. I think if I made more paintings a lot more paintings would have green in them. This year is very red. I don't know why, but my brain is just very attracted to reds. And so I've been painting a lot of different red artworks. So that's why the wolfsbane in her cloak or garment is red, because I thought it would be a great contrasting color to all the blues and the warm tones, and the cool tones, I should say, because red can be cool or warm. But I think this painting leans a lot cooler, and I wanted some warmer tones other than like her face to be incorporated into this painting. And that's something that I do in my brain. I oftentimes don't plan out my color palettes. I have a limited color palette of colors that I like to use in my paintings. I love my turquoise blue. You will see that all the time in my paintings. And I have a set watercolor palette for my portraits, so that's always the same. But I always switch back and forth with what the center color is going to be, whether it's green, red, orange, pinks, or purple. And this year, I think it's going to be red. So I hope you're looking forward to seeing a lot more red paintings. Now that we're at the end of this art vlog, I sincerely thank you so much for being here and joining me for this painting process. I hope you can relate to some of the things that I'm saying, and please leave a comment down below if you want to chat more about the painting, my process, anything really. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all later. Bye bye. Take care.
Soft, turn the key and cooler on. This a pause for relief. Free pass, you don't even have to ask to be the cat in the sun.